Welcome back. We're now making the feet for the small but mighty dragon. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the bobble toes, how to add the toenails, how to stuff the foot, and how to sew it closed. So you guys are going to refer to the written pattern for rows 1 through to the end of row 8, and then you're going to come back here and we'll make the bobbles together. You'll need your crochet hook, the same one you've been using all along to make your dragon with. You'll also need your blunt and yarn needle, and you'll need a small amount of stuffing. So grab what you need and let's get started. Just got to the end of row 8, so we're going to rotate our piece so the last stitch we just put in is on the side, and now we're going to put 4 toes in here, and we're going to do that using a bobble stitch. So we're going to go into the first stitch of the next row and we're going to make a bobble using 4 double crochet. So yarn over, go into that next stitch, pull your yarn through. You have 3 loops, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, and leave those loops on your hook. Yarn over and go back in to the same stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to repeat this until we have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. There we have 4. Now we're going to do it one more time. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. And there's our 5 loops. Now we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. There we go. Now just push the back of the bobble towards you using your finger. So it makes like a little bowl on the other side. So there's our bobble. Now we're going to slip stitch the next stitch over, so this one, and we're going to do it from behind. So just push your hook in from behind. That just helps pull the bobble down in the right direction. Push your hook through, grab the yarn, pull it through, and then pull it through. And there's our first toe. Now we're going to repeat that in the next stitch over. Yarn over, I'm going to do it one more time. There's our 5 loops. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Now push the bobble towards you using your finger, creating that little bowl. And now slip stitch from behind in the next stitch over. This one right here. Grab the yarn and pull it through and through. And there's 2 toes. Now we're going to repeat it 2 more times. And there we go. We got 4 bobble toes. Now we're going to finish off. We're going to leave a tail for sewing. We're going to use this tail to sew up the foot and also to sew the foot to the leg of the dragon. So there we go, 2 little feet. Now we need toenails. The next clip is going to be using this dragon here. It's the same foot, different color. Now we're going to add some French knots to make the little toenails, and it's nothing fancy and they're not perfect, but they do the job nicely. And I don't spend too much time on it. I'm just going to take a strand of white yarn and I'm going to bring it through the tip of each bobble and make a French knot. So I'm just going to pull it through from the inside to the outside on the tip. Okay, and I'm just going to wrap the yarn around the tip of my needle 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then go back in a little ways over. Don't go back in the same space you came through, because you want the French knot to hang on to something. And then just pull the yarn through. And I'm going to pull on both yarn tails to kind of get it into place. And there's one. Now I'm going to go over to the next one, coming through the tip. I'm going to wrap my yarn 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Go back down. See, pretty simple and pretty quick. Sometimes the knot needs a little bit of coaching to get into place, but just have to give that yarn tail a little tug. And that bobble looks a little funny, so I'm just going to straighten it out there. There we go, a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. Now all I do is just knot these two yarn tails together, just enough to hold them closed. I don't want to pull the toes in, so just make a knot so the yarn tails stay nice and snug, but don't pull too tight. Now I'll cut those up shorter, and those will be tucked inside the foot. Let's get ready to close this foot up, but we have to stuff it a little bit first. And once I stuff one, I keep it as a reference. I don't overstuff the other one or understuff it. I want them to be about the same, and that looks about right. So most of the stuffing is down here. I just have it lightly stuffed up here. And this is going to be the wrong side, and this is going to be the right side. So the wrong side is the part that we sew closed. So bring your needle underneath the V's of that stitch, right underneath there, and then go through right underneath the bobble. When you go through, go underneath the bobble, come through and underneath the stitch, the V's of that stitch. When I go back through, I'm going to go over top a stitch of the bobble. So I'm connecting the bobble and this together. And then underneath the bobble on the other side. Back underneath the bobble and through a stitch. And that's it. Now we're going to bring this down and out anywhere else, just away from that area. And now I can show you how I do left and right. I made little indents on each side of the foot, and you don't have to do this, it's not necessary. But I've already done one here. So I'm going to do this side here. So when the dragon is sitting, these feet are pointing towards you, and you can see a definite indent here. So I'm just going to bring my yarn tail through there, wrap it over a stitch so it has something to hang on to, and I'll bring it out. Oh, I'll come down here. Doesn't really matter. Just anywhere away from that. And just give it a little pull. Push it in with your finger. Get it more exaggerated. There we go. And that's all I did. Now I'm going to knot off again, so it keeps that shape. The back of the foot, this part here, is sewn to the leg, which I'm going to show you how to do in a moment. So let's just bring this up here. Bring your finishing yarn tail out in between the 5th and 6th row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and just knot it off here. And we'll leave it there until we're ready to sew the foot and the leg together. Alright my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. In the next one we'll sew the foot and the leg together, and that video will be popping up on your screen right about now. Just click that link and I'll meet you over there.